Lila Evans stood in the community center, clutching a lukewarm coffee, her eyes darting across the chaos of kids and hopeful parents. She and Mark had come to the adoption event with a plan: find Caleb, the shy 7-year-old they'd met over juice boxes last month. His quiet high had lodged in her heart, and she'd spent weeks painting his room blue, stacking Lego sets, dreaming of a Harry Potter world trip for her birthday. Mark, beside her, scanned the crowd too, his broad shoulders tense under his flannel. "He's not here," Lila whispered, her voice tight. The caseworker Sarah approached, clipboard in hand. "Evaluation's done. Caleb's matched. Another family." Lila's stomach dropped. Mark squeezed her shoulder. "There's gotta be someone else," he said. "A kid who didn't get picked." Lila's gaze landed on a boy across the room, pouring invisible tea into plastic cups, his dark hair flopping over his eyes. "What about him? He's adorable." Sarah followed her look. "That's Ethan. Bit of a handful. 6 homes in 2 years. Parents don't last. Come back shaken. He's fine, though." Lila frowned. "He looks so sweet." Mark nodded. "Maybe he just needs love. Hurt people, right?" Sarah shrugged. "Pre-placement, then. Foster him 30 days. If it works, we finalize." She handed over a thin file. "Kid's a mystery," she said, tapping it. "Barely anything in there." Lila took the pen, her hand trembling slightly. Mark grinned. "Let's meet him." Ethan bounded over, all elbows and energy. "Finally getting out of this dump," he said, snagging Mark's watch mid-handshake. "Almost got away with it," he winked, tossing it back. Lila laughed, nervous. "Let's get you home." Ethan grinned. "Starving. What's for dinner?" "Meatloaf and veggies," Lila offered. "Yuck, veggies make me sick," he shot back. Mark raised an eyebrow. "Pizza?" Ethan nodded. "With anchovies." Lila blinked. "You don't like vegetables, but anchovies?" "Of course," Ethan said like it was obvious. At the pizza joint, they settled into a booth. Lila tried to dig deeper. "What do you like to do? Read? Ride a bike?" Ethan shrugged. "Watch movies, violence, action, curse words." "My favorite." "Okay." Mark cut in, laughing. "What about family stuff, Harry Potter?" Ethan squinted. "Never seen him." Lila's eyes lit up. "Oh, we'll fix that movie marathon soon." Ethan just smirked, dropping his napkin. "Oops, get it?" Mark bent down and found an anchovy floating in his soda. "He's joking," Lila said, forcing a smile as Ethan cackled. Back home, the drum set they'd bought, a surprise for Ethan, unleashed chaos. By 10 p.m., he was pounding away, a one-kid rock band. "Neighbors hate me. Kids happy. I'll take it," Mark muttered, rubbing his temples. Lila stared at the ceiling. "He's testing us," she said. "We can't give up yet." Next morning, Ethan eyed the fridge. "Hates veggies, loves anchovies, foster life's a trip," Lila murmured, pulling out leftovers. Ethan grinned, snagging a slice. "This place beats the old apartment." Mark leaned in. "Old apartment with your parents?" Ethan's face shuddered. "Don't want to talk about it." He bolted upstairs, drumsticks in hand. Lila sighed. "He's hiding something." 2 weeks into fostering Ethan, the cracks started showing. It wasn't just the drum set rattling the house at all hours or the anchovy pranks at dinner, though those were plenty. It was the way Ethan moved through their lives like a storm, testing every boundary, daring them to flinch. Lila saw it as a plea. Mark saw it as a warning. It started small. One afternoon, they hit the grocery store for pizza supplies. Ethan trailed behind, hands in his pockets, smirking as Lila loaded the cart with pepperoni and cheese. "You're gonna love this place by the mall," she said, trying to catch his eye. He nodded absently, then slipped a tube of cookie dough under his jacket. Mark caught it in the checkout line, the crinkle of plastic giving him away. "Ethan," he hissed, pulling it out. Ethan grinned. "Kid took my keys once, said freedom smells better. Thought I'd try something sweeter." Mark's jaw tightened, but he tossed it on the conveyor belt, paying without a word. "He's pushing us," Lila murmured as they bagged the groceries. "Seeing if we'll snap?" That night it escalated. They were unpacking the haul when Mark reached for his wallet, gone. Ethan lounged on the couch, twirling it between his fingers. "He's joking," Lila said quickly, forcing a laugh as Mark snatched it back. Ethan winked. "Just testing your reflexes, old man." Mark's hands balled into fists, but he exhaled hard and turned away. "He's testing 'cause he's scared we'll leave," Lila whispered, touching his arm. "He's waiting for us to give up." Mark didn't answer, just stared at the drum set in the corner, its cymbals still trembling from Ethan's last outburst. The next day, Lila tried to bridge the gap. She found Ethan sprawled on his bed, flipping through a comic book he'd swiped from the living room shelf. "Hey," she said, leaning in the doorway. "Want to help me bake something? Cookies, maybe?" Ethan glanced up, skeptical. "With veggies?" She laughed. "No, just sugar and butter." He shrugged, tossing the comic aside. "Fine, but if it's lame, I'm out." In the kitchen, they measured flour and cracked eggs, Ethan smearing dough on his shirt with exaggerated groans. For a moment it felt normal, until he flicked a glob of batter at her. "Oops," he said deadpan. She wiped it off her cheek, smiling through gritted teeth. "You're a mess," she teased. He smirked. "You're the one who wanted me." The words hung there, sharp and unguarded. Lila paused, spatula in hand. "Yeah, I did. Still do." Ethan looked away, grabbing a spoon to lick instead of answering. Mark walked in, catching the tail end. "What's this, a bakery?" he said, forcing cheer. Ethan rolled his eyes. "She's making me into a chef. Save me." Mark chuckled, but his eyes lingered on the mess. Flour on the counter, a broken egg dripping to the floor. "Bought him drums." Neighbors filed a noise complaint. "He's grinning. Worth it," he muttered later to Lila, scrubbing the sink. "But this, it's every day now." The breaking point came on day 15. Lila woke to silence. No drums, no clatter of Ethan raiding the fridge. She padded downstairs, heart sinking. His shoes were gone. Mark checked his phone, a $60 Uber charge, timestamp 2 a.m. "Where the hell did he go?" he growled, dialing the agency. Sarah's voice was calm. "He's done this before. Give him a few hours." Hours stretched into dawn and Ethan finally sauntered in, hoodie damp from morning dew. "None of your business," he snapped when Lila asked. "Send me back, I get it. You're just another family who doesn't want me." Mark's patience snapped. "He's chaos, Lila. He doesn't want us. He's not even trying." Lila shook her head, voice trembling. "He rejects us 'cause his bio dad did first. He's afraid we'll ditch him too. We can't prove him right." Mark paced, hands in his hair. "He's not giving us anything to hold on to. What are we supposed to do, chase him forever?" Lila's eyes burned. "Yes, until he knows we won't leave." They pieced together a clue from an offhand mutter. Lancaster, the old place. It was a long shot, but Lila insisted. "He's running to something, Mark. We need to know what." They drove an hour, winding through quiet streets until they found a weathered house, a tricycle tipped over in the yard. A man answered the door, grizzled and wary, a toddler clinging to his leg. "Yeah, I'm Ethan's dad," he said, shifting uncomfortably. "Couldn't raise him after his mom died. New wife, new kid, he keeps showing up, but it's too late." Lila's throat tightened. "Bio dad bailed, now he's got a new kid. Ours is heartbroken." Mark frowned, hands in his pockets. "So he comes here hoping you'll take him back?" The man shrugged. "Guess so. I tell him no every time. Can't handle him." The little boy peeked out, calling, "Daddy?" The man waved him off. "They're leaving, buddy." Lila's voice cracked. "He's pushing us away to protect himself. Every family's rejected him, starting with you." The man looked away. "Take him or don't. I can't." Back home, Ethan was waiting, sprawled on the porch steps like nothing happened. "Where were you?" Mark demanded. Ethan smirked. "Checking my options. You gonna kick me out now?" Lila knelt beside him. "No, we went looking for you. We're not giving up." Ethan's smirk faltered, but he stood, brushing past her into the house. The drums started up again, louder than ever. Days later, Sarah called. "He's gone again. New family took him yesterday. Seemed happy." Lila's birthday loomed, Harry Potter World tickets pinned to the fridge like a taunt. Planned it for him. He bailed. "Still went," she whispered, tears spilling as she packed a bag. Mark hugged her tight. "We'll go anyway. Celebrate you. He's not the end of us." She nodded, but her heart stayed heavy, replaying Ethan's smirk, his tests, his flight. At Universal, Lila wandered Diagon Alley, wand in hand, barely seeing the magic. Mark nudged her. "Look." Ethan stood by the butterbeer cart, hands in his pockets, smirking. "Miss me?" Sarah trailed behind, exasperated. "New folks didn't last. Same tricks. Ran off, swiped a wallet." Lila dropped her wand, running. 30 days turned into forever. "Sign those papers," she laughed, pulling the form from her purse. Ethan hugged her, quick and fierce. "Thanks, Mom," Mark grinned. "Guess we're stuck with you." Ethan's hug at the butterbeer cart lingered in Lila's chest as she scribbled her signature on the adoption form, ink smudging under her shaky fingers. "You're in Evans now?" she said, voice thick. Ethan smirked, but his eyes softened. "Guess I'm stuck with you too." Mark ruffled his hair. "No rejection here, kid. Let's ride some coasters." They spent the day weaving through Universal, Ethan bolting ahead with a Gryffindor scarf flapping behind him, shouting about beating them to the Hogwarts Express. Lila laughed breathless, clutching Mark's hand. He's ours. Back home, Ethan settled in, for real this time. The drum set stayed, a permanent fixture in the corner of his room, though he toned down the midnight solos after Mark's gentle nudge. Neighbors might call the cops next time, Mark teased, and Ethan grinned, twirling a stick. Fine, I'll save it for weekends. Lila watched from the doorway, marveling at the shift. He broke my vase day 1. By week 2, he hugged me, she told Mark later, stirring spaghetti sauce. He's finding his spot. Pizza nights became sacred, anchovies mandatory, no exceptions. Anchovies on pizza, my foster kid's fave too, Mark chuckled one evening, passing the box as Ethan piled his plate high. You're weirdos, Lila said, grinning, and Ethan shot back. Takes one to know one. They ate sprawled on the living room floor, a Pixar movie flickering on the TV, Ethan mocking the sappy parts but staying glued to the screen. Afterward, he stretched out, head on a cushion. This beats the old place, he mumbled. Lila leaned forward. Old apartment, you mean? He nodded, slow. Sucked. No friends. Hard to make 'em when you're me, moving all the time, you know? Mark set his plate down. You've got us now, and maybe some kids at school, if you give 'em a chance. Ethan shrugged, but the next day he came home with a scuffed backpack and a story. This guy, Jake, in math class, he's got a skateboard, said I could try it. Lila's heart leapt. See, friends start somewhere. Ethan rolled his eyes, but a small smile tugged at his mouth. Weeks in, Ethan's walls cracked further. One rainy afternoon, he found Lila in the kitchen, flipping through a photo album she'd started, pictures from Universal, pizza nights, even a blurry shot of him mid-drum solo. What's this? He asked, peering over her shoulder. Us, she said simply. Our family. He lingered on a photo of the three of them grinning outside Hogsmeade, then pointed. Can we do that Harry Potter marathon you keep yapping about? Lila beamed. Tonight. Popcorn's on me. They piled on the couch, Ethan wedged between them, a bowl of popcorn balanced on his lap. He snorted at Snape's cape. Dude looks like a bat, but stayed riveted through Sorcerer's Stone, then Chamber of Secrets. Halfway through Prisoner of Azkaban, he yawned, leaning into Lila's shoulder. He called me Mom. Worth every meltdown, she whispered to Mark as Ethan dozed off, his weight warm against her. Mark squeezed her hand. Yeah, worth it. The next morning, Ethan woke with a mission. Can we go back to that Harry Potter place? Like soon? Mark raised an eyebrow. We just went. Ethan smirked. Yeah, but I didn't get to prank you on the rides yet. Lila laughed. Deal, but no anchovies in my butterbeer. They booked flights that week, Ethan buzzing about showing off his scarf to Jake and maybe sneaking a drumstick onto the plane. Gonna rock out at 30,000 feet, he said, air drumming with glee. The trip was chaos and perfection. Ethan darted through Diagon Alley, haggling with a shopkeeper over a fake wand, while Mark trailed behind, muttering about overpriced souvenirs. Lila snapped photos, Ethan mid-laugh, Mark pretending to hex him with a plastic broom. On the Hogwarts Express, Ethan leaned out the window, yelling, "This beats the dump," to no one in particular. A passenger chuckled, and Mark grinned. He's ours, chaos and all. Back at the hotel, Lila pulled out the final adoption papers, already signed, just needing Ethan's nod. You sure? She asked, pen hovering. He grabbed it, scrawling his name in messy loops. Duh, gonna stay longer than 30 days this time. Months rolled on, and Ethan's rhythm settled into their lives. He joined the school band, drums naturally, coming home with stories of Jake and a girl named Mia who played clarinet. She's weird but cool, he said, shoving a slice of pizza in his mouth. Lila smiled. Sounds like your type. He threw a napkin at her, laughing. But some nights the old Ethan peeked through. One evening, Mark found him in the garage, staring at an old bike they'd bought him. What's up? Mark asked, leaning on the workbench. Ethan kicked the tire. What if you guys change your minds like the others? Mark crouched beside him. We won't. You're stuck with us, kid. Adoption's messy, love's messier, keep going. That sealed it. The next weekend, they threw a party, pizza, drums, a handful of Ethan's new friends tearing through the backyard. Jake landed a kickflip on his skateboard, Mia cheered, and Ethan banged out a beat on a makeshift drum kit of pots and pans when the real one wasn't enough. Lila watched from the porch, Mark's arm around her. He's home, she said, voice soft. Ethan caught her eye mid-riff, grinning wide. Yo, Mom, pass the anchovies! She tossed him the jar, laughing as he caught it one-handed. The neighbors might complain tomorrow, but tonight, the noise was theirs.